I want to go over a quick overview of what I'm seeing transpire so far here in the markets. As we can see, we're up about 8.8% on the day. And I'm just going to make sure that this sends out because it was given a little bit of trouble. So I'm just going to give it a minute before I get into my talk. But it was, sometimes it's a little tricky because I'm not at home. And it can be a little hit or miss here. So it is connected. So I'm going to give it just a second here so that I can push this out real quick. Joseph, welcome in. I really appreciate seeing you here, along with UK Phil. Thank you both for being part of Tom's Army. I appreciate that. Sav, good evening. Mr. Toyolia, welcome. 1970 Legend, welcome in, and thanks for being part of Tom's Army as well. John Hall, good evening, my brother. And I'm kind of in there's a few people out here, so I'm gonna try not to talk too loud. But I really wanted to do this, so I'm gonna suck it up. Define Group, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army. Mo Zahir, welcome in, and thank you also for being in Tom's Army with Crazy Pool. New Fun, welcome. I also harder than you. Good evening, Jaya. Welcome in, Frank. Good evening, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for your first month with the emoji badge of me being abducted by aliens. Cat's World, welcome in, Richard and Jennifer. Thank you both for being in here. Jennifer Krupiak, awesome seeing you here as well. Thank you for being in Tom's Army for 2 months with the Dusty's Outhouse Crypto News, and it's quite fun watching you in the Telegram, I must say. Nate, welcome in. Brave Sigma, good evening. Hope tomorrow goes good. Yeah, we have the CPI tomorrow, so definitely going to be interesting. John Patak, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over a year. Saab, good evening. There was a meeting today, the 11th, March 11th, 10 a.m. How did it go? I don't know. I was paying attention to tomorrow's for the CPI and so on and so forth. Joey, welcome in. Trial by Fire says, Tom from Florida. Hey, good evening, my friend. Welcome in from Florida. I appreciate you saying good evening. I know I'm Tom, but welcome in from Florida. Hombre, welcome in. Sorry if I missed some of you. Y'all showed up at the same time. Tanya, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years with the 2 years with the XRP 589 Moon Badge. Love seeing you in here, Tanya. One of our most popular, I must say. Marco, good evening. Thank you for being in Tom's Army along with Aaron as well. Dylan, good evening. George, welcome in, my friend. UB2B Saab, welcome in, and thanks for being in Tom's Army for over 3 years. The XRP Diamond Hands Badge. Appreciate you, my friend. Our meme genius, I must say. Love seeing him in here. You caught a live gator? Yes, you did. Yes, you did. But let's get into some of this. And I do welcome everybody, but we've got a lot to talk about. I better take advantage of the time I have. So what I'm seeing here is we know XRP's up 8.4% or 8.7%. Our market cap's up about almost $10 billion. First Bitcoin, it's up 2.75%. Bitcoin's up 5.7, but XRP's up 8.7. So a little bit of a differential, not major. Now, the interesting thing here is, even though it looks like a great reversal from $1.89, and I'm not saying it's not, it's gone up 30 cents, per share, but that $2.20.5, I have it up there for a reason when it broke down and when it's trying to recover, because that was the level that actually got rejected, that actually caused this. Now, beautiful inverse head and shoulders like we talked about this morning. Like, I couldn't draw this out any better. If I had to do this for manipulation in the 45 or I could not do this any better. So this drop turned into a perfect shoulder, down to a further drop to a head. That's often considered a bottoming formation when it does that. Boom, boom, boom. That could be considered a bottom reversal, rounding the bottom, and back tested the $1.93 support. I would like to, Marco, I think that's a great move if you can do BITUNIX. I push it so hard, but I mean, it doesn't have every token. That's why I have other exchanges. But as far as fees go, if I could get everything on there, I wouldn't even, unless I needed something like crypto.com when I'm withdrawing off of permanent exchanges, the only way that I trade now, if I'm even just doing a swing trade, is through BITUNIX. I send so much stuff there from even crypto.com to get it off and sell it and then resend it back. Just a crazy thing. I know there's other things, Sab. It's just in the USA it makes it difficult. So this is a no KYC, no VPN, and things like that. And I only talk about the ones I use, because I can't vouch for other ones. So, but I like this little inverse head and shoulder setup here. We have to pay attention to this. Now, In order for this to make some noise, we have to get above $2.20.5. That's just, to me, that's a huge pivot layer. That's a huge pivot layer. And we can see these. We can see these little setups, and then we look lower here, and this is how we set up. Like, we were in this, we were in this, we were in the broadening wedge here, and well, we're gonna deal with what we're gonna deal with, right? So we were in the broadening wedge, and now we're also kind of in the symmetrical triangle. Not kind of, we are firmly in the symmetrical triangle. So we need to get past that. I said 233, but it's like 231. This is fun, right? Anyhow, so we're dealing with this. We've got, if you guys ever wonder the dedication, this is the dedication. Yep. So we've got the inverse head and shoulders here, and there is never. See, guys, it could be worse, right? Thank you, Tanya, so much for the $10 donation. I greatly appreciate that. You're the boss, Tom, and thanks, Julie, for sharing. Oh, indeed. I told you it's an interesting environment here. Some nights I just can't do it. Today I said the hell with it. I'm just going to do it. If anything, we'll have a little bit of entertainment along the way. But does everybody see this inverse head and shoulders? I'll do the intro, but do we see this inverse head and shoulders? Yes, she does, Jennifer. Yes, she does. But she's used to the way I work. Why am I laughing? Well, just listen to our good conversation. But yeah, let me do the intro, and then I also wanted to read. I think this is important about how the crypto whales, as far as going with XRP, they continue to buy. So I want to talk about that because I think it's important. Thank you everybody who's tuning in. We have 122 people here. It's getting interesting in crypto because some people are starting to, let's say, cool off to it, right? So they're starting to sell out even though it's an extreme fear, and then they give up on it, right? So what we really want to do is we want to see our audience base start to consolidate down to, like, remember when it was 75, 80 people? Now even on a bad day, what was it? And it's still growing, but 125, that still seems high for when we were in the bear market. So we'll see what happens. But these are the times, especially with extreme greed, where most people are looking to run, and then you find the opportunity. I really think that's an inverse head and shoulders that's set up here. Like, it's pretty obvious that that's what's trying to set up. That doesn't mean we break extremely bullish. But like earlier when it was at about 214, I said I wouldn't sell it here. You know, I mean, it's setting up an inverse right arm, and this is where we really want to build off of this. And then even if it's bearish, it should come up to that. See, the way I would look at this is that it should come up to right about here. Even if it's bearish, actually, let's move this back up. That's why I said 233. It should really come up there. It should really come up there for a rejection. So I think in the next, assuming we don't reverse here and this doesn't invalidate this inverse right shoulder, because we've already created it on the consolidation point, it really does look like we should come up another, probably double this move. We should probably double the move we've already done. So instead of it being 8.6%, we should be seeing it somewhere about 16, 17%, you know, in totality. So that's what, unless it reverses down and invalidates this structure and this inverse head and shoulder, unless that thesis is invalidated, that's what would end up happening. I think that's what would end up happening. We'll get into Bitcoin, but I really want to get into Bitcoin after we do the story on XRP, because there's an inverse head and shoulders here as well. 85K would be that defining moment up here. 85,003. Let's see in real time. 85,261. So you guys, I think we can all universally agree that there is an inverse head and shoulders starting to pan out here. Not down or out. Too interesting to just give up now. It absolutely is, but remember, when there's extreme fear, there's also not a lot of people that are interested, new people in crypto. So it does we can see a lot by being here every day together. You can start to see, you know, as it thins out a little bit, you can start to see when there's not as much public outcry. And this is what you want. The farther into fear and extreme fear you get, the less people that are going to be watching, especially the ones who aren't watching it like we are. Look at where the crypto fear and greed index is. Holy shit. Is it really at 15 right now? Are we really at 15? Is this accurate? My audience, is this accurate? How many people do we have? 138 people. Is this accurate right now? If it's at 15, we're golden. Am I missing something? If it's 15, oh my God. Oh man, thank you so much. Well, we know we have a different name, but I just read what it says on there. Thank you for a $9.99 donation. And for being in Tom's Army for 3+ months with the XP meter. I really appreciate that. Wow. Guys, I'm telling you, this is where you don't want to sell. You don't want to sell. It went from 20 to 15 now. Oh, man. Yeah, last week it was 24. The week before it was about, I think it was about right where it's at now. This is great. I'm telling you right now, this is unbelievable. Because when we were at extreme greed, I was disappointed. Like, you know, and we had to go down. It doesn't matter who's in office. It doesn't matter if there's his meme coin or not. He's just the face right now. So whether Trump or whoever else was in there, it was going to drop. We're in extreme greed. Remember what I say, extreme fear, you buy it. You know what I did today? I wasn't looking to buy anything, but I forced my hand. I did it. I showed him the Telegram. I'm XC. And it was down. It had a little bit of a pull down here. Not much a couple hours ago. Where was it at? Somewhere around here when it got filled. No, somewhere it's 19 something. And I had 1 million tokens, so I doubled it. I got a little aggressive and now I have 2 million. I'm just gonna be honest. Extreme fear is what I like. This is an IOTA token, Internet of Things. It's got 2.66 billion tokens total and for its lifetime, and right now 2.44 billion are in total or in circulating supply. So I was looking long and hard, which what I wanted, and the way that this pattern is breaking down in this descending wedge, this should either here, this should most likely be the floor here for at least now. So maybe it could come down to 154, but it can't come all the way down there like that. That's not going to happen. I'm trying to see like exactly, because we've never gotten anything else here, so it's really hard to just say this is what's going to happen. But I suppose if I was doing it, I should be like this, because we had this, we had the wick. So it's going to be something like that. So, I mean, we're getting very close to that crescendo point. We're getting very close to this crescendo moment. We came back and we filled that entire gap now on this drop. So this is one that I am honestly targeting. Well, I mean, we've already targeted it, but now that it came down the rest of the way, the first time we targeted was when it came around here. Late January, early February is where we started targeting. Then we had this overzealous move up. Remember, quick move up, sold back down. But we've been in this holding pattern for like, I feel like a month and a half now. But we've had many opportunities here. This was just, to me, this was my best opportunity. So I was buying it somewhere around, I don't even remember where it was all at. But the point is now I did buy some more right around that 19 level, 0019, because I really think this is getting towards this back end of the consolidation. But we'll see if it powers through. I'm just going to continue to opportunity there. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but I'd like to be wrong on the Internet of Things tokens at least. Gold and silver, I mean, it did me proud today. Gold, I mean, it bounced back from yesterday, closed at 2,916. Silver or plus 2,916 or 915. Silver was up at $39 and about 70 cents, 80 cents on the $32.90 on the close. Wow. Does anybody have the commodities? What coin is he talking about? Oh, MXC. That was MXC. I'm sorry. MXC. When you're looking at it, this is what you'll see. Let's see, where's the best one? I'll just show you the total supply. Sorry. So 2.664, the current circulating supply of MXC is 2.664. Then what's the max? It's for anybody wondering, it's Moon Chain. If you're looking it up, it's Moon Chain. Yeah, 2.664. So what's the current? It must be 2.44, whatever is the current. That's what I thought. Oh, it's already got all of them out now? Before when I was looking, it still had 200 million. How could it be possibly all of it now? So all of it's in supply now? So over the last month and a half, all 200 million got used up? Well, if that's the case, that's pretty interesting. I remember some of you have watched me do this when it was showing. Yeah. It's already in supply now. That's crazy. It's news to me. Glad I looked. All right, but that crypto fear and greed index is wild, man. That is wild. Wild. Sound cutting out. It very well might be for everybody. Can you guys hear me? Just out of curiosity. Remember when I said with ZBCN you can't trust it once it made that move? It wasn't because I didn't like it. It was, oh, this isn't the right chart, but we had this from 0.0007 and we sold it at 0.002. And now look what happened. It wasn't because I didn't like it. It was just when they're not part of the quote unquote long-term agenda, you got to be very careful. Remember this? If it didn't go up like that at 2 cents, we knew, but that was our sell point at 2 cents. And then I told everybody when we sold, if you wanted a second chance, you could buy it down at 0.0096, like 99 is where we had it. So, I mean, it fulfilled that at least. So even if you sold it up here after we made 175 or 150%, you could have sold it and bought it back, 55% cheaper. That was the whole point. Oh, yeah. No, yeah. DGB is very close. But that's the reason I didn't hold ZBCN, because it was a runner. It was a pump and dump. We knew that even if it was bearish, it could come up and make that big gain, and it should to exhaust it. And then if it was a bearish pennant, then it could play down, and that's the problem. So I never rebought it, if I'm being honest. DGB is close. DGB is close. I don't disagree with that, but it's being severely held down, and it's not just DGB, but the whole market. It's wild. It's wild. Daily doesn't look great. That's an engulfing to the downside. 4 hourly's trying to bounce back, but it's still getting rejected around the 200-day, so not great. If I had to guess, DGB could exhaust itself back down here. This would be if the market wide comes through. You could certainly see a possibility. Now, I'm not going to say that's 100%, because you could say inverse left shoulder, inverse head, inverse right shoulder already in formation. I'm going to get rid of these, actually. They're bothering me. I don't need all of this noise. I can always redraw a bunch of it, but it is bothering me. Actually, the top one, that should probably be kept, because that would be a eventual target here in the short term. But anyhow, now it's easier to see, so we can even take that off, take this off. And then when we're looking at this, I'm still looking at left shoulder, head, possible right shoulder. I mean, I'm still looking at this in a weird way. The only thing that really matters, though, is the fact that we had this what looked like a descending wedge, like, and then it rode out. We'll see, because it even came down there as a support hit. It's on the back side of this, which means it's still in the consolidation phase after a breakout attempt, which is pretty crazy. Like, it's really trying. It hasn't gotten any kind of momentum. But I still see a possible inversion there. So it's just one of those things. You can't predict when it's going to happen, but I still feel like this is just getting started here for some of them. Now, it could go down much farther before it actually gets started, but, some of these have been beaten down for a very long time, and it almost feels like if that was a bottom and that CME was filled on Bitcoin at 76,580 or whatever, even though, because there's the illusion here that Bitcoin could have filled that CME gap as it goes from 74,000 to 76,600 roughly, and we hit just about there, just under. But yeah, we still need some volume to come in. But that's what's going to make it or break it. This is a make it or break it moment, not just for XRP, but the market. Is XRP just coming up and this is a dead cat bounce to 220.5? Or is there something more? I mean, it's not the daily close in 8 minutes. Remember, we still have an hour and 8 minutes. My clock got moved ahead on Sunday where I live. So, in the USA. So we still have an hour and 8 minutes until the daily close. But that's a question we're going to have to ask ourselves. We're going to get into that article. I know it took 20 minutes to get past this intro, but I thank you all for the patience. Good evening. 6:53 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on this Tuesday, March 11th, 2025. I'm XRP Future Millionaire, and I reside in the great state of Michigan. Fortunately for all you, I'm not bashful. No, I really don't care who I sit by and talk. It's just, you know, I try to do it in the right environment. If there's something going on like yesterday, people eating with their kids and stuff, well, you know, I explained it earlier. I won't explain it again. But if anybody noticed, I've been adding to this. And this is going to end up being, if you guys watch me long enough, this ends up being the tokens that I believe are going to power through. I'm going to be showing in a series, just through this, the ISO and IOT, the ones that I obviously will own, and the ones, if everybody asks, what do you own and what should I buy? All you have to do is look at my artwork. So right now, today I added IOTA, but we've got XRP, obviously, DGB, XLM, and I'm XRP Future Millionaire with the side bet on XLM and Future Digibyte. OG, so you can see XRP, Digibyte, XLM, Algorand, and now IOTA is the new one from today. So far, that's what we have. Still a lot more to be added, and I'm adding them, you know, every day or two. And I'm finding strategic ways. So right now you've got Algorand and like the ashes in the fire. You've got Digibyte, kind of like the top of a can. It's kind of like lit on fire. XLM is kind of rocketing out of there. IOTA is coming through, just on the side of the hand. But it's gonna mean something in the end. Like, this is an ever-evolving art. And anybody who watches, this is going to be something unique what we're doing here. So, you know, it's I like it. For anybody who's been following, it'll be something. Tom, you think H-bar and algo will recover this cycle to maybe reach all-time? See, everybody with the all-time highs? No. Just stop. We just got to stop right now with the all-time highs. Remember, algo maybe. Yes, algo maybe. Or not algo. H-bar, I don't know at how long it's going to take, but H-bar has a much better chance of getting to all-time highs than algo in this cycle. And it's not that algo's not, it might not, but algo, remember, it's at 19 cents. Like, forget the past cycles right now. You know, forget the past cycles. Just worry about where we're at right now. Like, we've got to just make some noise here. Otherwise, you know, we've got engulfing candles in the weekly. This is not a good sign right now. Like, yeah, we've got a short-term bounce up, but right now that's a big engulfing candle to the downside. The only good thing is there was not much sell volume. So it's almost like we're waiting for some kind of news to come out of nowhere, because that also kind of looks like we could be setting something up here, but we've still got to make some more noise. Still got to make some more noise. IOTA sitting here at 17.8 is crazy. It's just some of this I just can't believe the pricing. Zillow I'm very happy with, up 7%. You know, VChain up 7%, but these are getting beaten down. Nice reversal there. That could be the reversal we're looking for. It's on the bottom of the channel. I don't know what's going on here, but it should have been up a little bit higher like that. But it's on the bottom of that channel, so that's not necessarily a bad sign. And then if you start looking at this and you start to take into account everything we're seeing here, I think it's starting to build something. Got a support. Now this is assuming, right? You're assuming now. Could be starting to build something like that even. We really could. Which means, I mean, we did already come down to, we already came down here. Support. I mean, for Zillow, this could be starting to bounce back now. Still got to get past that pivot point at 125. For some reason, it hates that area. it would bounce off it nice to go bullish, but every time in the past, even when it would come below that, that just seems like an area where it's not very happy if it comes below. It always recovers pretty quick, but man, that's a pretty steep drop from 126 all the way down to one. That's like 20 something percent. Then this time when it came through right here, I mean, that's a big layer. Now, it kind of looks like it's confusing right now, honestly, because they look like they're trying to bottom here. That's what I was saying earlier. Like, it looks like we could have created a bottoming formation, which is actually rather interesting to me, the way it did it. Because look, most of these came back down to the bottom. Like, look at these formations. Now, one argument could be like, oh, maybe these are like bearish consolidations, bearish pennants, ascending wedges. DAG up 15.9%. VELO's also having a good day, up 12.9. They're all basically stuck in these formations. Some have come all the way down, some haven't, but it's just, we're in a weird spot. DAG, if it could recover, it's going to have to come past 5.8 in the weekly, 5.8 cents, but then its next resistance up at 7.7. So, like, a lot of them are acting similar. How many of, I got a question. I forgot to look. Are any of you in commodities? Like, First Majestic, our silver miner, was up 10.4%. We're back over $6 now. It's pretty insane. I remember when they had the acquisition here, and we'll go back into the XRP whales, but I remember when they had the acquisition here. Did anybody buy this with me? When that acquisition happened and it dumped out and when I rebought it, it was just a perfect time. Not toot my own horn, but man, beautiful inverse head and shoulders formed here now. And I drew this out a long time ago on the wider scale. But that's when they had an acquisition and everybody dumped that stock for some reason. I don't know why. I think they seen a lower balance sheet and they're like, oh, this thing's a pile of shit. My average is 464 on this thing. I mean, granted, it's only 32%, but man, coming out of that little descending wedge consolidation, you know. Let's look at Fortuna silver mines. I mean, these look like, man, if this breaks out of here, this is going to be pretty special. I hope it does. B2 gold starting to wake up a little bit here, up to 275 finally. We'll see if it can continue. Next big resistance is up here. I'm sorry, I love talking about precious metals and commodities. 303. Nobody said DGB's bullish. I never said it was bullish or bearish. I just said if it can hold this breakout, it's on the backside of a breakout from the descending wedge. If it holds it, it's very bullish. It's just the rest of the market is going to, like I said, the rest of the market's going to dictate what DGB more than likely does. Oh, I love this. We'll see, because it's not just crypto that's in these weird spots. It's even these commodities. So let's read farther. I just like DGB's in the Internet of Things. I like what it stands for. I like its tech. I mean, when you start looking into the nodes and stuff, it's very hard to find some a blockchain that's quicker too. So there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff going on. Oh, speaking of which, there's cops outside and they have somebody in the car. Beautiful time we live on. Beautiful time we live in. Even though I don't have them right now, I should. Yeah, I think commodities right now, and like gold, you know, it might be too expensive for some, but you got to remember when the thing, so the companies, if you can find the right dividend paying ones that have been around and you think are good and you understand, remember they're what's taking these commodity or the precious metals out of the ground, or these mining companies. So, but yeah, I have different segments. Like I also have a CD with a little bit of money. I have like emerging markets, not as much as I should. But I'm using my just something else to just gotta weight these a little bit. But I definitely think emerging markets is, like I've been saying for like the last year, is a great play. Yeah, we got to get into this reading. I've already been talking for 30 minutes. That is crazy. I don't know what's going on outside. Got a couple cops out here. But I don't know. I have a feeling that they're like housing undocumented immigrants and stuff here, so it's pretty interesting when you see. Hey, great time to be alive, right? Great time to be alive. So crypto whales know something big is about to happen with XRP. Ripple XRP stays in the spotlight. The long-lasting lawsuit with the SEC is coming to an end, and there are 16 XRP spot ETFs being filed. Whales still buying, and pointing to April 16th. The market is in turmoil. However, it seems that XRP whales still see opportunities. They keep buying XRP in big numbers. Last week, a whale bought 95 million XRP worth $237 million. Earlier today, another whale bought 17.4 million XRP worth 36.5 million. Another 167 million XRP also moved today. That's worth 350 million. The XRP price dropped from $2.26 to $1.92. Well, $1.89. However, it's now back at $2.10, and as we know, it's up to about $2.19. Do these whales know something that we don't know? Let's take a closer look at what's going on with Ripple and XRP. So the lawsuit against the Securities and Exchange Commission is the most pressing case. Former Securities and Exchange Commissioner Chair Gary Gensler started the lawsuit on 22nd of December 2020. The accusation was that by selling XRP, Ripple sold an unregistered security. And we all know that this can never be ruled as an unregistered security. There was an amendment put in after the ruling. The only thing in question right now is the civil penalty for Brad Garlinghouse, Christian A. Larson, and a few other with Ripple. But that is it. It has nothing to do with its security status now, so that can never be dictated differently. However, in 2023, Ripple secured a partial victory. Judge Anna Perez ruled when sold to an exchanges, it did not constitute security transactions. She presides over the district court for the Southern District of New York. However, there's a new wind blowing at the SEC. President Trump appointed Paul Atkins as new chair. He's still waiting for a Senate hearing. That's because there are still 9 cabinet members waiting for Senate approval. Currently, Mark IOTA is acting chair. So, Chris Giannicario, whatever, Mr. G, great choice by President-elect Trump for SEC governor chairman. Paul Atkins is honest, smart, and knows how to move the agency forward. He will attract talent and embrace technological innovation, crypto, digital finance after years of suppression, and regulation by enforcement. Doubtful, but and return SEC to its proper role in fostering capital formation and American economic growth. So it shouldn't even matter because if the CFTC, like they're making them commodities, so the Commodities Future Trading Commission has nothing to do with the SEC anymore. They got to get past this. That's why I keep saying this dog and pony show. Just understand what you're buying. Don't invest in things that are junk. Forget the memes and just move forward with the Internet of Things and the ISO tokens. Like, forget all the nonsense. Even AI will have its spot. It's just, I'm not as certain. So with the new Security and Exchange Commission leadership, the case is most likely coming to an end. Like many other lawsuits started by the SEC paused many lawsuits. This can be because the SEC wants to wait for Paul Atkins to come into office. In the meantime, other work groups are overhauling previous rules and started these cases. However, Ripple asked for their case to continue by 16th. It's getting hot in here. Some people are getting nervous because the cops are arresting somebody. That's interesting. Opening brief in the lawsuit. There's apparently $125 million offer on the table by Ripple to settle the case. On the other hand, the current government could also stop the case before the date. One way or another, the outcome of this lawsuit is of importance. It could significantly impact U.S. crypto regulations. This could also have a massive effect on the XRP price. Be prepared for volatility and a skyrocketing XRP price. Maybe a new all-time high on the horizon. An XRP spot ETF currently, there are no less than 16 XRP spot ETF filings. This includes some big name firms like, and that's why I wanted to share this one, because now everybody can see just how prevalent this is. Can everybody hear me? I'm just curious. Or am I not able to see? I'm just waiting to see. Let's see. Okay, good. Good. It's hard to tell in here, to be honest with you. My signal's not exactly the best. So Bitwise XRP ETF, Grayscale, 21 shares core, the XRP Trust ETF, Canary Capital, Wisdom Tree Coin Shares, Invesco, VanEck, Fidelity, ARK Invest, Galaxy Digital, Pro Shares, Hashdex, Volatility Shares XRP ETF, Volatility Shares 2x XRP ETF, which is like a 2x leverage trade, even though it's just a ETF. So you get twice the exposure. And then Volatility Shares minus 1x, so it's an inverse ETF, which means it's like shorting it. So that's it. That's good. So this looks positive for XRP, and the Bitcoin spot ETFs worked out fine. On the other hand, the Ethereum spot ETFs didn't work out as well as expected. So this raises the question if there will be enough demand for an XRP spot ETF. A lot will have to do with the outcome of above-mentioned SEC lawsuit. As I already mentioned, it looks like this will have a positive outcome. It's great to have all kinds of different crypto spot ETFs. It's a positive development for crypto in general. However, in reality, it looks like the demand for these crypto ETFs will not be that strong. At least not yet if you aren't Bitcoin. Nonetheless, spot exchange traded funds are good financial instruments to have a hand for institutions and the less adventurous investors. They're perfect investment vehicles. You can invest in a crypto asset without actually having to hold it, let alone having to deal with the complex crypto environment at times, especially for beginners, like buying crypto at an exchange or having to own non-custodial wallets. During the SEC lawsuit, it came to the attention that Ripple was behind a Bitcoin smear campaign. Ripple promoted the Bitcoin is controlled by China FUD. This traces back to internal emails from 2018. In those days, China did have the highest concentration of Bitcoin miners. Even Elon Musk chimed in on this tune in 2021. So, on how XRP compares to new coins, take chart and turn it into inside post, blah, blah, blah. This feels similar to Brad. And what does that Chris already say publicly about Bitcoin being run by China? I disagree. I think Bitcoin was created by the U.S. government, and we've already see the validity now of what's going on. So how is the Bitcoin China story different than the one we already working on with blah, blah, blah? Are we going to put... Isn't it funny how they redact everything? So redact this. I'm done reading that trash. That's wild. The crypto fear and greed index is wild right now. That is wild. Let's see. I just want to see where this is at right now.
Her website says that she does, but I wanted to, since the offices are closed for the day, I can't confirm anything with them until tomorrow.
Ooh, we got a lot of liquidity up here at 236. That looks like a nice pull flag there too at the back end on this inverse head and shoulders. This looks like we're gonna come up to like 240. I think we're gonna come up here and retest this area. That's a lot of liquidity up there. That's where we're going probably. Looks like a nice flag formed here. Looks like a nice inverse head and shoulders with a nice bull flag. Looks like we're coming up there. If I had to guess, looks like we're coming up here. We're gonna come clear this liquidity one way or the other. There's nothing down here. We already cleared it out. Don't have to worry about that. So we're gonna have to build some short liquidity. If I had to guess, that's where I would say we're going. Whoops. You guys see what I'm talking about, right? There's a lot of liquidity up there. I think that's where we're going. Well, we don't know if there's going to be, well, I mean, there's rumblings of an H-bar ETF, but H-bar, remember, they partnered with Swift, so they're just fine. H-bar is just fine. They've got a lot of partnerships, and they're going to be around. So they've already got solidified, in my opinion. I really do see that. That looks like a nice bull flag there. That should push us up to that area. That's going to push us up near that 240, 237, 238. Do you know what's up with ZBCN and BitDump? I don't know what's going on with BitDump, but ZBCN is exactly the problem we talked about. It was on a bearish pennant, and even if it was to break up bullish and hit that resistance at 002, the problem is that in a bearish pennant, whoops, that's not the right chart, but in a bearish pennant, even if it comes up there for a rejection, it was meant to go lower. So that's why we played that big pump. What is going on here? Oh, wrong one. That's why we played that big pump. And I targeted 007 when we bought it. This was, or 0079. We targeted this. And then our sell point was there was a first target here, but we were looking at 002. It filled it out perfectly. I got rid of it. And then I said if you wanted to buy back, you could try at 00099. So what's wrong with it is it was actually in a bearish pennant, and that was a fake out to the top side is what it looks like. There's nothing wrong with it. It's just that's a bear pennant. The way it was set up, and it broke out prematurely, and that's what we were playing. We actually played the artificial breakout to here, and then if it kept pushing, we said we could play it one level up, and that's what happened. It was perfect. And now it came right back down. Does anybody even, was there anybody in here when I said when I sold it where you could possibly buy it back at 00099 once it filled that big gap? I wonder if anybody was in here, because I often say things and then I always wonder if anybody actually remembers or actually paid attention, because it's scary sometimes when I see my own analysis played through, and then I'm always wondering how many people actually see it from the end, from beginning to end. But it's wild when you understand technicals what actually happens. It's crazy. Excellent, Don. If there was a place for it to have a good play, it would be right from that area if it was going to play through. Our big problem here is in 47 minutes now the market closes for the day. Not that it stops trading, but the candle closes and flips to the new one. So that's when we're going to see the truth here. Right now we're having a wild push in crypto, but there's going to be something to be said here. And tomorrow is going to be a very big day for crypto when this clock flips. I got you there, B. Yeah, I talked about it in the lives and Telegram and stuff when I did it. So like I talked about it. I talked about it. So. Let's see. $2.18. See, we're kind of fading a little bit here. We're up 8%, but it's not going to happen all at once. We're gonna have to hold, and then we're gonna have to work our way through that 220.5. I mean, that's just what we're gonna have to do. Anything short of that, it's just not going to end well, because we don't want this to be a dead cat bounce. Good evening, Sean. My main man from Maine, Sean Crothers. Thank God for people like you, Tom, so I don't have to. Hey, you know, we all have our role, right? We all have our role. But XLM even up 6.28% to 25.7 cents. We've got this little bit of a descending, well, I mean, it's still been this descending wedge. Still, I mean, it still could technically be a cup and handle here. I mean, it is right now. This hasn't faded away. We're still within this consolidation. The short-term one was just that. It was too small. And you can see within, whoops. We can see within, if you just get rid of this, some of the smaller scale, the way I drew it out, it's much easier to be able to see what we're in. When you just look at it as possible inverse head and shoulders. Let's see if we can draw this out better. I mean, we do have it in this inverse head and shoulders. I mean, this cup and handle. But we did have a resistance support. I'm sure we could draw this out a little bit better. But I mean, it looks like a perfect cup and handle. Yeah, I'm probably gonna do it like this. Because I don't think you, I mean, you technically, yeah, technically like that. If you wanted to look at it in all reality. Let's see. I mean, I don't hate that. I don't hate that resistance line. That's what we're fighting with right now. That's definitely what we're fighting with. Just like that. That's that short term. If we were to take this out, put this like in one, see the difference? I mean, that's basically what we're fighting with right now. So that's what we got to get past. It's a nice handle form. Like, we have a cup, there's a nice handle. But that's what we got to get past for XLM. So whenever we talk about it, that's exactly what we're fighting right now. And we are fighting. Let's make this a little bit smaller. See that though? I mean, for XLM, we could very well be starting a breakout attempt here. A lot of the market is set up like this. We're in a very interesting spot. Like it just sucks that we got pushed right to that 220.5 and then we immediately came down for XRP. We couldn't even hold any kind of semblance there. It's a big point. That's a big area. It's a big area. But everybody, I'm gonna have to go. As you guys know, I'm not home. And I seen I was being looked at. So, I mean, we could have another wave down. If this breaks down, the next, it's going to be that target from late December we talked about down to, you know, $1.50. But I'm going to go, everybody. I'm glad that we're able to do 45 minutes. But I've got stuff I got to do. I'm sure you guys can all relate. Have a blessed evening. Thank you all for tuning in. I'm going to try it again tomorrow. We're going to do what we're going to do. I appreciate it. And thank you all for the support. It means a lot to me. It means a lot. And we're going to continue this week and try to finish the best we can. When I'm at my dad's house on Friday, it'll be a lot easier to do these lives. But I'm glad we're at least able to do like 45, 46 minutes. Have a blessed evening, everybody, and let's just watch XRP now because it's got to hold some kind of formation here.